Welcome to the Talking the Line podcast, presented to you by Talking the Line Sports Media, giving you our best insights and analysis so you can rake in some cold hard cash on your next sports bet. Now sit on back, open up your mind, and let's cash some tickets. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We hope you enjoy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates and gamblers far and wide. Welcome in to episode number 43 of the Talking the Line podcast, the first ever official live YouTube episode. You are watching it now. We are live and we are ready to bring it to you. Hey, thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your day to come and kick it with the crew on this beautiful Monday of bets. Now, before we dive deep into today's action, talk some lines, and give you the value we found across today's slates, take a few moments to smash that subscribe button on whatever platform you are currently ingesting the TTL pod on, whether it's on YouTube or in the podcast directories after the live show. If you could be so kind, feel free to leave us a comment, hit that like button, leave us a rating, all that good stuff. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. And last but not least, if you're looking for additional TTL crew content, check out the link tree in this episode's description, either down there on YouTube or also in the podcast. You will find the Talking the Line link tree. We made it nice and easy for you. You can hit that link tree and locate all of the TTL crew's content, social medias, and everything in between, so you can consume it however and whenever you please. Ladies and gentlemen, gamblers, thank you so much for joining us. I am your humble host, Colt 45 Soroka, and if it's your first time joining the TTL podcast, welcome in. But if it's your multiple time, if you're a long-time listener, you know what's about to happen. Without further ado, let me bring in this man sitting to my left over here, a young man whose Sox fandom runs thicker than blood. A young man whose Green Bay Packers fandom might even run deeper. You can see he's already repping the Chicago Bulls this morning. Little Jordan air going on. He's ready to let some air out of himself and give you some serious value today. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the degenerate gambling legend himself, Mr. Riley RMags Magnuson. Partner, how you doing over there today, pal?
My man, I am just fantastic. What a week, what a weekend. We had a solid weekend of action last week, and this weekend of sports action lived up beyond the hype, and I am ready to do it all over again, my man.
Hey, me and you both, my friend. I spent a good majority of my Sunday and Saturday not only seated on the edge of my couch, but gripped tightly onto the armrest as well.
Yep.
You said a spectacular weekend of sports. I could not agree with you more. I mean, we had NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, games going down to overtime, teams that we thought were going to win way outright, losing by a last-second bucket. I mean, partner, it is the best time of the year. If you are a sports fan and if you are a fan of sports gambling, it is time to get in now.
Yeah, things are rolling.
Things are rolling, and I honestly don't know what all those people who don't watch sports out there are doing right now.
Yeah, I don't know what you could have done this weekend. I don't know how this weekend could have been any better. No. You had a full Saturday and Sunday of NBA and NHL action, little MLB sprinkled in, and then good old Phil Mickelson taking the win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's save some of that banter for the Rants and Reactions segment of today's episode. However, quick little recap from last week. We did have a solid week as a crew. Myself, I caught fire. Beginning the week, I absolutely killed it. Closed out the week a little rough, but ended my week last week 15-4-2. So you better believe I am ready to bring it back to you for this week. Mags ended up 7-6-1, positive, nothing too major, but he's definitely ready to get back onto the big train, big money train this week. The Moneyline Dice had a 2-5 record last week, kind of a little bit of a slip, have now pushed them to 6-10. We may be talking in fade the dice territory, partner. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then the special plays last week went 2-3-1. We had a push on the Wednesday Warrior and then cashed 2, lost 3. So, or I apologize, 2-2-1. That would be 5 days. That would not be 6 days in a week. So there you go. There you have it. Colts Daily Draw. If you've been following along on Twitter, I'm thinking about bringing it back sometime this week. We're a little light on the plays today, so I don't think I'm going to be hammering it in too quickly today. Maybe sometime in the week. We'll see. And one final piece before we dive right into today's episode. Make sure you guys follow us on the Action Network HQ app. If you haven't downloaded it, download it. We will also put it all over our Twitters. We consistently put the links out there. But follow at Talking the Line, at cash_with_Colt for me, and at RMags, all caps for Riley. You will get all of our best bets there. Outside of the TTL pod, anything we smash in throughout the day, you will get it up to the minute. So make sure you follow us on there. But for now, cut all the banter. Cut all the nonsense. Skip all the gossip that you could go to every other media outlet and get. You come to the TTL podcast not only to hang out with these two good-looking guys, but hey, you come here for the Stone Cold Locks and to run some tickets to the window all night long. So without further ado, let's get into today's action.
Let's get into it.
All right, if it is your first time stopping by the TTL podcast, if not, you know where we're going. But just so I can preface a little bit, we start things off here with the first segment of the TTL pod with our best bets of the day. Now, my partner usually goes first, and I take it second. He showed up at the TTL production studios today. Said, partner, we are live on YouTube. I got to bring a solid card today. I can't be messing around. I can't be goofing around. I got to give these folks locks. So I say, hey, partner, let me step back. Let me let you drop some knowledge on their heads. So without further ado, partner, you have the floor.
Appreciate it, my man. I am taking out of today's slate 3 MLB plays. First one coming at 5:40 p.m. Central Standard Time. Phillies versus Marlins. I am taking the Marlins first 5 money line. We've got Zach Eflin on the mound versus Trevor Rogers, and I cannot, and I know both of us are in this train, I cannot talk about how much I love Trevor Rogers enough. He is an under-the-radar candidate for NL Cy Young, and he's doing it with a 1.74 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP. His last 3 starts, he has totaled 18 2/3 innings, giving up only 3 earned runs and 21 strikeouts, and Miami is 2-0-1 in first 5s over those 3 starts. His opponent, Zach Eflin, he's been solid this year, but nothing like Rogers. Eflin holds a 3.77 ERA and has allowed a couple of runs last week against this Miami offense. The Phillies offense, however, is coming cold into this matchup. Over their last 5 games versus lefty pitching, they are hitting 206 batting average, 275 OBP, and only 2.5 runs per 9. The Marlins offense is heating up a little bit after a nice little week. They are in their last 5 versus righty pitching. They are hitting 247, 295 OBP, and 335 runs per 9. Now, both of these teams have some low first 5 inning run numbers, but Miami ranks 5th in the MLB at home in first 5 runs allowed, first 5 inning runs allowed with 1.58, while Philly on the road ranks in the bottom half with 2.91. Like I said, Miami's offense, they're coming in a little bit hotter. They're not, tearing the cover off the ball, but I like Trevor Rogers to lock them down and Miami to at least tally a couple. So I'm taking, for my first play, Marlins first 5 money line.
I'm all over it right there with you, partner. You took everything out of my mouth that I could have possibly said on that play. Trevor Rogers absolutely destroying teams up and down the lineup right now. And Zach Eflin has started to see a little bit of a rocky patch here as we get towards the end of May. So I am all over the Marlins first 5 money line with you, pal. What's your second pick of the day?
All right, second pick kind of staying with the same trend, another guy that I, in the American League, like just as much as Trevor Rogers. You've got John Means on the mound today for the Orioles and Matt Shoemaker for the Twins, and I am taking the Orioles first 5. Like I was saying, John Means has been as stingy as anybody in the MLB, and he's matching up against a guy who cannot say the same in Matt Shoemaker. Means enters this game with a 4-0 record and a 1.7 ERA, a .75 whip, and has allowed 1 walk in May over 3 starts. Shoemaker could not be further from the opposite. He enters with a 6.08 ERA, 15 earned runs in May over 20 innings and a third innings pitch. On the season, his only good starts have come against Detroit, 11 innings, only 1 earned runs. If you take away those 2 starts, partner, against Detroit, he has an 8.07 ERA versus every other team.
Ooh.
The Twins' offense has been inconsistent all year long, and they have solid season numbers versus lefties. But over the last 5 games versus lefty pitching, they are hitting 167. I think it'll only take a couple of runs here for Baltimore to lock this one down, and it might even take just 1 run. I will take John Means just about any day of the week on these first 5, staying away from the full game because these bullpens are a little shaky. But again, I like this Orioles first 5 money line, partner.
I agree 150%, my man. Everything as far as the bullpens, the first 5 numbers, everything you laid out there with the pitching matchup as well. Couldn't agree more. Give him your third pick of the day.
All right, third and final pick for my personal slates here. You might call me a little bit of a homer with this one. They had a rough weekend, but I am taking my White Sox at home versus the Cardinals, another first 5 money line. You've got Kwang Hyun Kim, left-hander for the Cardinals versus Lance Lynn, righty for the Sox. White Sox have dominated lefty pitching all season long, and they have dominated first 5 inning action all season long. I'm not going to let a cold weekend on the East Coast sway me from that. Lance Lynn has also been a dynamite pitcher against first 5 runs. Sure. The Sox, whenever they go West Coast, East Coast on the road, they do have a little bit of struggles. But like I said, they're coming back home. On the season, the Sox are hitting .279 batting average, .359 OBP versus lefty pitching. That is without a doubt the best offense against lefties in baseball. They are number 1 team in first 5 inning runs scored with 3.62, and they are 4th in first 5 runs allowed with 1.87. Lance Lynn, as I was saying, has been a big contributor to that number. He enters this game with a 1.55 ERA and a .98 whip. Lynn has not faced many hitters in this Cards lineup, but the ones he does, he has some strong numbers against, most notably Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt.
Love it.
Nolan Arenado is a career 2-16 versus Lynn, 125 average. Goldie is 4-18, 222 average versus Lynn. If you can neutralize those 2 guys, you've got yourself a good starting point, my man. And another spot where I think it's only going to take a couple runs for the Sox to cash this first 5 run line.
I would agree with you.
I know you're a little shakier on this after this weekend. They gave you a sour taste this weekend.
They gave me a sour taste in my mouth this weekend for sure. I hammered them in all 3 days on the first 5 money line, and they could not get it done against the Yanks. As you alluded to, I think those East Coast matchups are a little bit tough for them. It's a little weird. I don't know what the deal is with them, but I do believe they kick it back into high gear after having a bit of a brain neutral weekend, if you will.
Well, they didn't take the win yesterday, but they finished the game with some momentum. Sure. They obviously blew it in the bottom of the 9th, but I can't remember if it was 4-0 or 4-1, or even 3-0. But either way, they came all the way back and tied it in the 9th with a 4-4 tie, and then obviously blew it in the 9th. But we're staying away from the bullpens here, so I don't have to worry about it.
We're not worried about the late end game. We're worried about the first 5. Right. So I'm right there with you too. White Sox first 5 money line. Now, usually we would have Mr. Mags recap all of his picks of the day, give them to you, but just hang on.
Yep.
We're going to bring that to you here in just a little while. So, continuing on best bets of the day, partner gave you his. I guess it's only right that I give you some action today as well. So, without further ado, it's time for my best bets of the day, and I too am bringing you 3 of my own picks. Now, I have 2 MLB plays, and I have 1 NBA play for you today. Kicking things off with my first pick, I am taking The Oakland A's first 5 money line against the Seattle Mariners. Now, for this matchup today, you have Yusei Kikuchi on the mound for the Mariners, and you have Frankie Montas on the mound for the Oakland A's. Now, Kikuchi has really struggled for the M's all season, and especially here as we hit the end of May, he has had serious command issues throughout the entire month, partner. 3 games in May, Seattle is 0-3 in Kikuchi's starts, and he's given up 3 earned runs in each of those games.
Okay.
Overall, this season, Kikuchi is 1-3 straight up, has a 4.32 ERA, 279 OBP, and a 661 OPS. So he has been letting batters hit all around the ballpark on him, and the M's are 2-3 straight up in the first 5 innings in Kikuchi's last 5 starts. Now, Montas on the opposite, or the opposition on the bump rather, for the A's, he has been solid all year, and he would have been much, much better had it not been for a few rough outings, actually 2 rough outings. One against Minnesota where he gave up 6, and one against the Dodgers where he gave up 7. Now, that was early in the year when both those teams were crushing the ball. Both of those teams have now come way back down to earth, and Montas has really started to find himself again in May, and especially as we get here towards the end of the month. Now, A's are 3-1 in Montas' last 5 starts overall. They would be 4-0 had the bullpen not given it up against Houston in his most recent start. So that is why I decided to stay with the first 5 instead of the full game, because this A's bullpen is a little bit shaky so far this year. Montas may start so far. He's had 4 starts, 23 innings pitched, 23 hits allowed, 8 earned runs allowed, 20 Ks, and 6 walks. So he's been rather dominant in the month of May. And as a matter of fact, the A's are 3-1-1 straight up in the first 5 innings in his last 5 starts. So he has been solid in the first 5. First 5 innings over their last 5 games overall, the Mariners are 0-4-1 straight up in the first 5 innings. And as a matter of fact, 2 of those games were against the terrible Detroit Tigers that you mentioned earlier in your analysis, partner. The A's are 2-1 straight up in their last 5 games in the first 5 innings. And not to mention, all of those games were against the Los Angeles Angels and the Houston Astros, who have some high-powered offenses behind them. Couple of key stats I'm looking at for first 5 inning runs per game and first 5 inning runs per game allowed. First 5 inning runs per game, Oakland is 20th in the MLB, averaging 2.36 and has an average of 2.37 at home. Seattle is 27th in the MLB with a 1.93 average, and they're averaging 2.18 away. Now, as far as first 5 inning runs per game allowed, this is where I'm really looking here. Oakland is 12th in the MLB with 2.30 first 5 inning runs per game allowed, and Seattle is 29th in the MLB in first 5 inning runs per game allowed with an average of 3.29. They have a serious knack for giving up runs, and as I told you at the top, Kikuchi has given up at least 3 in all 3 of his starts, so I think that continues. Some really key things I'm looking at for this game. Montas continues to improve as we get to the end of May. And he really gets an opportunity to improve even better against an ice-cold M's team that has actually lost 7 out of their last 10 games, partner. So they are playing terrible. Kikuchi can't find himself at all, and the A's are not the team that he needs to be trying to do that against by any means. And one final thought here, the A's versus lefties this season. 239 batting average, 322 OBP, and a 4.87 run per 9 inning stat line. And then the Mariners versus righties, 200 batting average, 285 OBP, and 4.18 runs per 9 inning. That all leads me to my first pick of the day, the Oakland A's first 5 money line. Lock it in.
I love it. Mariners are quietly one of the coldest teams in the league right now.
They're absolutely terrible, and I think if you can get the A's at a good price like that for the first 5, lock them in all day long. So for my second pick of the day, I am rolling on over to the matchup between the hottest team in baseball right now, the San Diego Padres versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, the Padres, surprisingly, are actually coming in as an underdog in this matchup, and that is actually playing real large into why I am picking this, and I'll tell you a little bit on that here in a minute. However, you got Blake Snell on the mound for the Pods and Brandon Woodruff on the mound for Milwaukee. Blake Snell has been stellar in May. He finally has started to find himself again after a rough start to the season. Minus one rough outing against the Giants when they were the best team in baseball, and he actually came back the very next game a few days later and shut down those exact same Giants. His other starts outside of that one where he gave up 4 earned runs to the Giants in May, he's only given up 1 earned run, 2 earned runs, and 1 earned runs in his 3 other starts. So he has absolutely found himself. He's had 4 starts, pitched 19 and 2/3 innings, gave up 8 earned runs, had 29 Ks, and 13 walks. So he is back on track. Now, Woodruff, has been the Brewers' workhorse all season long. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can say otherwise. He has been a dominant pitcher, and he's one of the best pitchers in the NL right now. He actually has faced this exact same Padres team back on April the 19th, where he went 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, gave up 1 earned run, had 7 Ks, and 3 walks. Now, I know that seems a little scary when you hear that stat line against this same team, but that was when the Padres were ice cold at the beginning of the season. They didn't really know what they were as a team yet. And believe you me, I think Brandon Woodruff is in for a rude awakening tonight. Now, with that all being said, some key trends I'm looking into. San Diego, 18-11 straight up after a win. They won 9-2 over Seattle yesterday. They're 12-7 straight up as an away team, 3-1 straight up as an away dog. They are 24-14 straight up on no rest and 28-16 straight up playing a team with equal rest. They have the best record in the NL and in the MLB now at 30-17, partner, and they have won 9 out of their last 10 games, and I think they play suit similar to the Rays and go for number 10 here this evening. Now, Milwaukee, 10-12 straight up after a win. They did beat Cincinnati 9-4 yesterday. They are 10-12 straight up at home, 6-9 straight up as a home favorite. They are 21-17 with no rest, and the Milwaukee Brewers are 23-20 playing a team with equal rest. And not to mention, they've only won 4 out of their last 10 games. So they are in no spot to be trying to put up runs and compete with a San Diego Padres team that has all of a sudden turned into Slam Diego again, partner. Milwaukee should be favored in this matchup. I definitely think the line is correct just based off of the last matchup with Woodruff against the Padres. However, as I said, the Padres are back in action. You are getting some serious value on the San Diego Padres at plus money. You are getting the best team in baseball at plus money. Need I say more? All of that leads me to San Diego Padres money line on the full game for my second pick. Now, I told you I had 3, so I've done 2. It's time for the third. This one is my NBA play of the day, and I am rolling on over to the matchup between the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. I am locking in this matchup the Miami Heat plus 4.5. Call me crazy, call me what you will. Just listen in and let me tell you why. The Heat are 35-36-2 ATS overall this season. They are 20-17 ATS away. They are 4-0-1 ATS in their last 5 following a straight-up loss, 5-0 ATS in their last 5 conference quarterfinal games, and 6-0 ATS after allowing 100 points or more in their previous game. Now, Milwaukee on the other side of the ball, 32-41 ATS overall this season, 18-19 ATS at home, 18-17 ATS as a home favorite, 21-24 ATS on 1 day's rest, 16-22 ATS playing a team with equal rest, and they are 1-4 ATS in their last 5, 1-7 ATS in their last 6, and Milwaukee is 3-7 ATS in their last 10. They have not been the cover machines that they traditionally were. And not to mention, playing the same Miami Heat team, They're 1-7 ATS in their last 8 after allowing 100 points or more in their previous game. So a couple of stats play high and play large off of each other from the varying sides in this matchup. Now, some real keys that I'm seeing in here. Miami hung with the Bucks for the entire game on Saturday, and they had terrible offensive shooting from their core players. Bam Adebayo, 4 for 15 from field goal, 9 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Jimmy Butler, 4 for 22, 2 for 9 from 3 points, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Tyler Hero, 2 for 10 from field goal, 2 for 5, 3-point, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Those are not the numbers of that Miami core. And if they forced overtime and lost by 2 points with terrible, terrible offensive output like that, what do you think they're going to do coming into this matchup tonight? Eric Spoelstra's been here before. The Heat have been here before. He will have the team ready to rock and roll despite what anybody thinks or what the public thinks. And I'm sure everybody in the public's going to be rushing right to Milwaukee with this same line, yet not knowing the stat lines that I just gave you with some of the core players. The core players are really going to get this turned around tonight. I see Miami pulling off a huge, huge cover, and I'm actually thinking about a little money line sprinkle for an additional huge upset. So all of that kind of combined, especially really looming large, that offensive core for Miami, just not playing the game that they really needed to play. I think that Miami gets this cover at plus 4.5 very easily, and maybe even the outright win.
Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, I was torn on this one, but with the extra 4.5 points, not only that, but their defense, they have the defensive recipe to slow down Giannis and the Bucks offense. So like you said, I don't really see Jimmy Butler, especially Jimmy Butler, having another game. What was it, 4 for 22?
Yeah.
I think he's a big factor tonight. And like you said, I might be interested in that money line as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see Miami coming out and having the same issues that they did. So there are my 3 picks of the day. Now, you might think, okay, it's time to recap. It's time to go through RMags' best bets of the day and Colt's best bets of the day. But hold on. If you haven't been around before, you're about to find out. But if you're a long-time listener, you know what the special play is on Monday. You know what we do over here. It's time for the Monday Madness Parlay. That's right. It's here. It's live. If you don't know what it is a cross-sport parlay that we put together. Could be 3 legs, could be 5 legs. Hell, it could be 7 legs if we want it to one day. That's why we call it madness. It gets sweaty, it gets intense, and let me tell you, we have been cashing the mess out of these special plays. Last week, a little bit of a rough special play week, but outside of that, we have been hot on these bad boys. Now, partner, today's Monday Madness Parlay is one that I am very, very excited to bring to these kind people. We were both actually on these 3 plays right off the jump together last night. So when 2 professional handicappers tend to find themselves on the same play, tends to be a good spot to put them all into a special play together.
I would say so.
Without further ado, I know you loved the first leg of the Monday Madness Parlay. Before we get into it, 3 legs today on the Monday Madness Parlay, and we will recap it right after this as well. So that's coming. Hold on. So, partner, first leg of the day for the Monday Madness Parlay. What do we got?
All right, first leg. It's getting started a little early here. We got a little day-night parlay coming at you. We're taking out of the MLB action Rays money line versus the Toronto Blue Jays. This Rays team is coming in scorching hot. They are looking for a 4-game sweep over the Blue Jays. You've got Ryan Yarbrough on the mound. I believe it was a little undecided last night, but Ryan Yarbrough on the mound, lefty, versus Ross Stripling, right-hander for the Blue Jays. What I love most about this game is the Rays scorching hot bats versus right-handers. During their current hot streak, over their 10-game win streak, they are hitting .306 batting average, .390 OBP, and 8.73 runs per 9. Last 5 games, even better than that, hitting .321, .422 OBP, and 11.1 runs per 9 innings. Not only is Ross Stripling a righty, but he is having a rough time here in 2021. He is 0-3 with a 7.2 ERA and a 1.76 whip. He has only completed 5 innings twice, and he is coming off a 6 earned run outing versus Boston last Wednesday. This is no man to slow down this red-hot Rays offense. I like the full game over the 5 because Tampa's bullpen has been lights out during this 10-game win streak. Over that streak, they have a 1.76 ERA, 159 batting average against, and a 2.47 OBP. On the flip side, Toronto's bullpen has a 5.12 ERA over their last 10 games. The Rays are red hot, and they still aren't catching the respect from these sportsbooks quite yet. And if you're putting some fresh cheddar with Ross Stripling on the mound, I think it's going to be another light show for this Rays offense.
I 150% agree with you there, partner. Had to get on the specs here. Feel a little
Getting
bit
real
more,
serious, huh?
Feel a little bit more smart for these kids out here. Actually, I'll act like I know what the hell I'm
getting
talking
real
about.
serious out here.
No, I was starting to all the freaking glare and everything. Had to tone stuff down a little bit here with the eyes. So there you have it. The first play of the day for the Monday Madness Parlay. Partner gave it to you. The Tampa Bay Rays full game money line. Now for the second leg of the Monday Madness Parlay, we're doing a little Stanley Cup action. We're headed to the game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, and we are very confident in the Tampa Bay Lightning money line. We are looking for them to close out the series here tonight. They have been absolutely dominating the Panthers since this first round started here. They've won 5-4, 3-1, and 6-2, and one of the matchups had to go to overtime where Florida got a lucky 6-5 overtime victory. I think the Lightning are done playing around. They're tired of goofing around with this Florida team and sitting here longer. They saw Boston advance last night. They saw Colorado advanced last night. They're tired of playing around. They're ready to get the job done and get on into the second round. As a matter of fact, the Panthers are 0-4 in their last 4 after allowing 5 goals or more in their previous game. Lost 6-2 on the 22nd to this same Lightning's team, obviously. And the Panthers are 0-5 in their last 5 when their opponent scores 5 or more goals in their previous game. So exact same team, exact same matchup here. You love to see some stats like that. And not to mention, the Lightning are 15-7 in the last 22 meetings between these two teams. Give us all of the Tampa Bay Lightning to secure their second-round playoff spot for the Stanley Cup this year and get the solid victory tonight. So for the second leg of the Monday Madness Parlay, we are taking the Tampa Bay Lightning money line. Partner, you're the NBA guy around these parts. I like to say I can cap NBA too, but you are much, much deeper of a fan, whereas I just like to read lines and win some damn money on it. So for the third pick of the day, if you couldn't guess, we are taking an NBA play.
Yes, sir.
Partner, lay it on him.
All right, third play, final game of the night, I believe. There's actually a couple late games, so I don't know if this is the last one. But anyways, you've got Nuggets versus Blazers. We're taking the Blazers plus 1.5 here. Blazers are coming in off a nice win on Saturday night over these Nuggets, and this Portland offense is rolling, my man. Over their last 5 games, they are tops in the league on offense, averaging 123.4 points per game. In this spot on the season as a 1 to 2.5 point dog, the Blazers are 8-4 ATS. I just like this matchup here for the Blazers. The Nuggets don't really have the guards to slow down Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. So I think this Blazers offense is just going to stay a little too hot. And, I think it's going to be a little bit closer than it was the other night. I think the Blazers ended up winning by 14 points. I think it's going to be a single-digit game here. But I think the Blazers have a good chance of getting this one done again. And, nice little 1-point insurance there, partner, in case we get a little buzzer beater action, because I do think it might be that close. Yeah. But all in all, I just love this Blazers offense way too much right now to not take them.
I would have to agree with you. I was kind of looking, and it was intriguing. The Denver Nuggets, and both two high-powered teams. I always get them confused. But the Denver Nuggets first half money line was kind of intriguing, especially with the point spread being the exact same for the full game. I like Denver to come out with some urgency. I think you'll see the public slam a lot of money on their side because it is the same point total, and they have been the better team all season long. However, I think that CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard looked way too comfortable against the Denver Nuggets defense. I also think that a lot of the Denver Nuggets key players outside of the Joker did not step up and do their job like they needed to, and it didn't look like they were in a spot to where it was going to be a one-game improvement, which was very, very surprising. Jamal Murray can hoot and holler all he wants over there on the sideline, but I think the Blazers are going to take this one tonight, and I think they're going to take the series, my man.
Yeah, I agree with it. And, to hammer it home that this might be a solid play, you said the Nuggets might come out with some urgency. Blazers are actually tops in the league at first quarter points.
Well, there you go. There you go. So forget what I said about the
I agree with you that they're going to come out with urgency. But
either way, being facetious, just a little facetious for you. So there you have it. Monday Madness Parlay. Now you might say, Colt RMags, we didn't have our sportsbook app out. We didn't have our pens and paper out. What the hell are we going to do? How do we remember your plays? Sorry, you're shit out of luck.
Got to go back and listen, I guess.
Gonna have to go back and listen. Get the hell out of here. We'd never do that shit to you. Let's recap today's best bets of the day. Here we go.
Ooh, there we go.
All right, Mr. RMags. We have your 3 plays right around in that general vicinity over there. It's a little hard when you're looking into the cam, right? But we have for Mr. RMags, Marlins first 5 money line, Orioles first 5 money line, and the Chicago White Sox, his Homer Domer team, first 5 money line. For my best bets of the day, we have the Oakland A's first 5 money line, the San Diego Padres full game money line, and the Miami Heat plus 4.5. And then over down in the corner there, you see the Monday Madness Parlay, the Rays money line, the Lightning money line, and the Blazers plus 1.5. Now, you parlay all 3 of those bad boys together. They might be around plus 550 to plus 590. Anywhere in there, you're going to get it. Hammer it home and get that juicy boy locked in. Now, as always, hammer them home. Lock them in. Sprinkle a little bit of dough down. Whatever you like to say. Just get them in at whatever the current best line you're finding them at on your favorite sportsbook. There you have it. Killed it. We have the best bets of the day. Now, you might see down here in the corner the Moneyline Dice. The Moneyline Dice are on a record of 6-10 right now. They have made a bit of a slide. And
they made a mess of last week.
They made a real mess of last week. And I mentioned them a little bit here at the top of the episode. And since you got all of our best bets, we might as well bring in our good friends, the Moneyline Dice, for today's Moneyline Dice roll. Now, hey, haven't ever got to see this.
Ooh,
beautiful,
baby.
Nice little carrying pouch. First time you guys get to live see the Moneyline Dice. You've been listening to us roll dice on a podcast for how long? How long have you been listening to us do this?
ASMR, you never know.
Hey, a little ASMR, who knows? But now, you get to see the Moneyline Dice live in action. They are here. They have made their first live official YouTube appearance. So just so you know I'm not lying, there's your home and away dice. There is your Moneyline and your ATS dice. You can hardly see it. I'll be sure to come up to the camera so you guys will see it. Just wait. And then we also have our over-under dice. Now, dice were a little shaky last week, as we kind of been saying, so we're going to stay away from that over-under.
Yep.
And we're just going to let them tell us who they think is going to win, either on the money line or on the puck line. Oh, got a little ahead of myself there, but that's okay, because today's roll is for an NHL matchup. Why I said puck line. So today's dice roll is for, or between rather, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs. This one should be a tight contest. I think this line, me personally, is a little bit too big for the Leafs, especially with the Canadiens playing at home. But also, the Leafs could stay hot, even with the injuries and some of the rough start that they've had here to the playoffs, losing John Tavares and having to kind of revamp their lineup. Don't let me mumble. Don't let me go on. I'm not the one making the pick.
This is the Dice's
I'm not
segment.
doing this. So without further ado, they are here. They are live, and they are ready to make their first live YouTube roll. Let me scoot back here just a little bit. Now, for the first roll, as always, if you've never seen it, if you've never heard it, the first roll we do is for the home team or the away team. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are the away team, as I said here at the top of the segment, and the Montreal Canadiens are the home team. Now, the Leafs are coming in as the favorite, right around minus 162 right now, and the Habs are coming in as the dog, right around plus 143. So that's right about where you're going to see them. So let's get right into it. For the first roll, we're going home or away. Are we going with the Leafs? Or are we going with the Habs? Moneyline Dice, don't do us wrong on the first YouTube live roll, you sons of bitches. Here we go.
Coming in hot this week. Come on, Dice.
In a 1. Okay.
That is the home team.
That is the home team. I'm not moving it. You see me just go right here. That is the home team. You see it just like this, so I'm just going to set it right like that.
Montreal.
And for the second, are we going Montreal plus 1.5 on the puck line? Are we going Montreal Habs to get the outright win on the money line in a 3, in a 2, in a 1?
That's the puck line.
So we are taking the puck line. The dice have really liked the puck line.
See what those odds here. I'm going to pull that up real quick.
I will come up to you guys real quick so you can see these real fast. Partner, check them out. Let's see what we got.
Let's see. Montreal plus 1.5 at minus 190.
How well you guys can see those.
Oh, yeah, that's right on camera there.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Moneyline Dice, first official appearance, are live and rocking and rolling, my friends.
So, my man, the real question is, are we staying true to the dice, or is it time to fade the dice?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You know, I think I got to stay true to the dice.
I'm staying true.
I'm staying true as well, man.
They've been testing our patience. Yeah. They've been seeing who's a true rider or not. Yeah. If you jumped off the bandwagon, they're about to, they're about to slap you in the face and
they're about to give you the old middle finger, if you will, with this selection tonight. So for today's Moneyline Dice roll, you saw them live in the flesh for the first time. We're not making it up. We're not just out here making sound effects and picking random plays. They're real. They're in the flesh. And before I get into that, the pick today, Montreal Canadiens plus 1.5. What I was going to say, if you want your own set of Moneyline Dice, handy little carrying case right along there with it. Actually, I don't know where my carrying case went now. Threw it somewhere. However, if you want your own or any of the other amazing merchandise that the Moneyline Dice company has, we have the hookup for you. Now, went ahead and dropped down in this episode's description the Moneyline Dice website and the code. So, head on over to moneylinedice.com. They have a bet tracking book. They have an MMA scorecard, for crying out loud. They have the Moneyline Dice, and they got some sick merchandise that you can wear and rock that Moneyline Dice crispy logo. Now, head on over there, fill up your cart with all the goodies that you want, get to checkout, and you're going to enter code TTL10, TTL10 at checkout, and that is going to get you 10% off your first order on MoneylineDice.com. So instead of just going out there trying to find some random picks, buying some random guy's picks for the day, hop on board with the Moneyline Dice. Real affordable, and you get a nice discount thanks to the TTL crew.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead, get your own Moneyline Dice, and while you're at it, lock in the Habs plus 1.5 for today's roll of the day. There you have it, partner. Holy smokes, we did it. Our first official live stream, we did it. We got through all of our best bets of the day. Your best bets, my best bets. We gave you the Monday Madness Parlay, and the Moneyline Dice made their first official appearance. Now, if you haven't ever been to a TTL podcast, we are sports fanatics. We are very much sports gambling fanatics, but we also like to give you a little bit of our hot takes and some of our insights within the sports world. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we like to kick it on down into first gear, sit back in a chair a little bit, not be blasting you with numbers, and just give you a little fun content to watch, a little something to laugh at, and hear our takes for everything that is currently going on in the world of sports. Now, we used to call it the Banter Minutes, but live now, for the first time ever, the second half of the TTL podcast kicks off for today's episode on May 24th, 2021, with today's Rants and Reactions. They are live, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, partner, let me take a deep breath here. You guys are looking beautiful out there. Let me toss that to the side. Don't need that anymore. All right. Well, hey, let me click on over here for concurrence. Hey, to all four of you guys watching right now, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We know a bunch of you more will come and watch the video later. I know a lot of you have already reached out like, yo, we're busy at 9. We'll do this, but we'll tune. Hey, it's all good. We can't thank you guys enough for being here live and in prime time, joining us for our first official episode. Man, oh man. What
a weekend, man.
Wow. What an absolute
What a damn weekend.
Before we dive into that, man, oh man, we're here prime time, live, locked and loaded, 5 days a week. You will catch us here every single day, Monday through Friday. We ain't going nowhere, and we're going to start rolling out new content right before your eyes. But let's get into it today. We did have quite the weekend of not only sports, but sports gambling too in general, partner. I mean, just across the board. Big news coming out this weekend. Obviously, the PGA Championship. Philly Mickelson becomes the oldest player in PGA history at the age of 50 to win a major championship. What do you think about that, partner?
It was I couldn't have imagined that tournament going any better as far as an enjoyment standpoint. I mean, you know, like obviously he wasn't in the field, but Tiger Woods is really the only one that it's more of a pleasant surprise that he's at the top of the leaderboard and you want to root for him more. Right. But I mean, man, the dude, everyone else seemed to have their struggles. You know, if they strung a few along and then they dropped right back down. If Phil had any little blips in the road, he was right back at it the next hole with a nice little birdie. But I really thought Koepka was going to make a better run for it, but he ran out of steam there. He had some knee issues. His putter was not working, and I don't know if it's legit or not, but I think he might have had trouble like reading the greens because his knee was so messed up.
It's funny actually that you say that. Brooks was awful pissed off about this hooping and hollering crowd and that knee of his. Yeah. It came out this morning that if you saw the 18th green, the scene that you should pretty much hang up in the Louvre for crying out loud. I mean, we're back. We're back for crying out loud. I mean, you see that many people huddled around an 18th green. We're back. COVID's over. You might as well consider it done. But they lost control of that crowd at some point in time when it got about halfway down that fairway. And if you watched it close, some fans started grabbing Phil. And like it was really kind of a tense situation. And then he stopped and started to take deep breaths and breathe in and breathe out. And he finally makes it to the 18th green. And we're like, where's Brooks? Where the hell is Brooks? Phil's been up here lining up his shot for the last 3 minutes. Where's Brooks? Well, all of a sudden, Brooks emerges out of the sea of people.
Seriously.
And it comes out that people were grabbing him too and actually re-aggravated and re-injured that knee again.
Yeah, I can't imagine it was intentional, but goodness great. Because, I mean, everyone loves Brooks. You know, he's one of the more well-liked guys as far as a fan standpoint. But, yeah, they gotta figure something out for those monster crowds at the end of these tournaments.
100%. And here's a rant from me. When y'all get back out there, you get all into the world, the wide open, we're coming back, sporting events are happening. Be a decent human being. I'm watching this PGA yesterday, and you'd have thought some of these guys had never seen a golf ball fly through the air in their life. I'm talking, it would hit the ground on a dead sprint to the golf ball and stand on it and look at it.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. Let's relax. Let's let these players actually play the game. They're just as excited to see you as you are them, but you are going to throw them off their game and fuck up a great performance if you continue to do what you're doing. So we need to pull back the reins just a little bit.
I mean,
and let's screw our heads back on just a tiny bit.
People don't know how to handle themselves.
I mean, I tell you, we get the dang Q-teen over, man. Everybody's out here just losing their hot damn minds. I tell you, man.
Yeah.
But we also got Charles Schwab Open coming up this week.
Memorial tournament after that one. That one's a nice one. That one's always a nice one.
So definitely some good golf coming up. We'll be sure to get you guys some plays. And one final thought there on the PGA Championship. Shout out Zach Schultz. I know, man, put a little lump of cash down on Philly Mickelson on Saturday afternoon and was able to cash that ticket. So congrats to you, my man.
I did a little... middle of round 3, I took Phil like plus 200 to finish round 3 as the round 3 leader.
Okay.
So that was nice.
So cashing tickets all across the board. Outside of that, nothing else super major in the world of PGA. Now, speaking of a little bit of quarantine, a team that it almost looked like their season was over. It almost looked like they might get the COVID, get the Rona, and their whole playoff run is done.
Yep.
But the Colorado Avalanche have prevailed. They became the first team to advance to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs last night, quickly followed by the Boston Bruins topping the Washington Capitals 4-1. Both those series were never close, and both those teams now find themselves in very solid positioning, looking from the inside out.
Yeah, that's
relaxing.
That Bruins Capitals series. I really, after the first couple of games, I thought it was going to be a 6-7 game series, but Bruins turned it around. And I mean, Avs made pretty light work of those St. Louis Blues. That was not a playoff team.
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure they won all 4 of their games by at least 2 goals. They won by
that was honestly, of all the series, that was the one that I didn't tune into at all.
They obliterated them like nobody's business. So you got those teams, 2 teams already in. We mentioned it in our best bets. The Lightning have a shot to advance to the second round themselves today with a victory over the Florida Panthers. The Jets also have the opportunity tonight as well after Edmonton let them battle all the way back in the game from a 4-1 lead and beat them 5-4 in overtime. They don't deserve this game. I think the Jets move through tonight on back-to-back games, especially going back into Winnipeg, and now the Jets are sitting in a beautiful spot.
Yeah, Oilers are cooked, man. That one was a rough beat for my Saturday or Sunday evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Vegas also has a shot tonight against the Minnesota Wild. If they get that victory, they're into the second round. So things really, really heating up in the Stanley Cup right now. And then you got the series tied between the Pens and the Islanders, 2-2 right now. Game tonight to see who takes the third. And then you got the series between the Leafs and the Habs tied at 1 apiece right now. So we'll see who takes the 2-game lead this evening. So Stanley Cup playoff hockey has been electric.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many overtimes, and yesterday's Carolina versus Nashville double OT.
Yeah.
Last second, 2-3 minutes left to go in double OT. Get it in the center, in the crease, shot. See you later. Everybody erupts. Taylor Lewan out there slamming beers. I mean, it is electric.
Podcaster Taylor Lewan.
Yeah, podcaster Taylor Lewan. If you saw me on Twitter, I quoted that, and I was like, podcaster. Are we just going to forget he's the best offensive tackle in the game? Like, we just forget he does that now because he tore his ACL. But it was electric in Nashville yesterday.
But I mean, looking at these potential second round matchups, this second round might even be better than the first round.
Yeah.
You got a potential Avs Vegas matchup, Bruins versus the winner of the Pens and Islanders.
I'd be down with either one of those teams. The Islanders have been holding their own and looking good against the Pens. The Pens obviously have been solid. They could give the Bruins a run for their money. And then over there in the Central, still kind of what the hell's going on? Who's going to pull ahead?
Yeah, hopefully
who's going to get it done?
I don't want to see the Predators in that second round.
They will get obliterated by the Lightning if they see the Lightning in the second round. So I really hope it's the Canes. I hope the Canes get themselves together.
That'll be a good series, hopefully.
Absolutely. So that's rocking and rolling right along. Speaking of playoffs, we got other playoffs going on. We got the NBA playoffs happening live and in prime time. One of my plays today was coming from the Miami versus Milwaukee game.
Yep.
So that was rather solid. One of the key matchups that I really, really, really liked this weekend was the Grizzlies versus the Jazz.
Yeah, man. Grizzlies might make a run at that series, man.
I think so, too. To win outright as +8 underdogs.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
You've got, it sounds like Donovan Mitchell might be coming back, but I might even be a little worried about whether it's his own rust or team chemistry rust. That's a sketchy situation for them. And Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks look like they are primed for NBA playoff action. They are not blinking in this adversity. And, they took it, I don't want to say easily, but
pretty damn convincingly.
Pretty convincingly, at least, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a little bit of an opposite. I guess kind of the same. The public was all over the Knicks, and we saw Ice Tray Flooded come and drop a dagger on the heads of the Knicks, win that 107-105 in MSG.
Yeah, what a game, man. What a damn game. I am so excited for the rest of that series.
Get this. I had Knicks money line, right? We both had Knicks money line.
Yeah.
We loved them. I hopped on FanDuel right before the game started. Saw Worldwide Wob, Rob Perez, my man. Absolutely love him. I said, dang, he's got a super boost on there. Dang, it's Knicks to win and Atlanta to score under 106.5. You just heard what I said. Rough beat. Terrible beat. Absolutely brutal. So I lost the Knicks and I lost that super boost, and it was by that much. And, if the Knicks hit that 107 shot, put them up 107, 105, both those bets hit. So, hey, welcome to gambling,
What are you going to do?
Welcome to gambling,
What
baby.
Are you gonna do?
There was nothing but solid NBA playoffs.
Yeah, all these games are decent.
weekend.
I mean, the Suns handled the Lakers pretty convincingly.
Yep.
I know a lot of people who are expecting that. There's a lot of people who were on the Suns yesterday, but still on the Lakers for the entire series.
Little scary, though. CP3 could have been out, man. It looked pretty,
he messed up his shoulder. He did mess
scary.
up his shoulder. But even still, Devin Booker looks like he is going to be the real deal. I mean, we know he's the real deal. Looks like he's going to show up as the real deal in this series. And DeAndre Ayton against Anthony Davis looked like the guy that he was meant to be when he was drafted into this league, my man. And, these Suns held on to that 10-point lead pretty much for the entire second half, it felt like.
I know. It was pretty much a dominant performance through and through from the Suns. The Mavs got the upset win over the Clippers, which was huge.
Yeah.
The Wizards were trying to get it done against the 76ers yesterday, but just barely couldn't get it done. If you had the Wizards +8, as me and my partner both did, you cashed that bad boy by 1 point.
Yep.
You absolutely love when those NBA games come down to the wire. You're sweating it the entire game, and then it's that last 30 seconds that's like, okay, miss a shot. Okay, make a shot. No, wait, miss that one.
Yep.
That's what I love so much about NBA betting. It's electric in the last 30 seconds, minute of the game.
Well, the one on Saturday, I tweeted about it. One of my favorite random ass things about gambling is rooting for a team. Like I had Heat +4.5, I think it was, or 5. I don't remember what it finished as. You're rooting for that team for 99% of the game, and then it's a tie game with the opposite team having the ball with 2 seconds left, and you're rooting for the other team to hit a buzzer beater.
Right.
So you flip in the last second. It's just sort of random, quirky thing about gambling, but I love it every single day.
Absolutely, man. So we got some serious NBA playoffs rolling in hot and heavy. We should have some action-packed games tonight with Milwaukee, Miami, and then promptly following that, Portland and Denver. So make sure you're locked into those, because just like the NHL has been insane, so has the NBA playoffs so far. I don't think one game out of the NHL or NBA playoffs so far has been a game where I'm like, I could have done without that.
I think just that Celtics-Nets game.
Sure.
Yeah. Because that seems like pretty much a wrap. But other than that,
well, the Celtics came out early and came out hot, so it looked a little intriguing.
Yeah, you're not
wrong. But then the Nets absolutely stomped on them.
Yeah,
so
you're not wrong.
That was the end of that. That does it for playoffs. And why don't we cover one of the other last sports here that we got? MLB, our favorite teams, the Cubbies and the Sox. We got to recap a little bit of their weekend. Now, partner, your Sox coming off a 3-game skid. What the hell?
A little bit of a rough weekend, as I was already mentioning.
Hell?
Things can get weird for the Sox for whatever reason on these East and West Coasts. So,
hey, but they get to go home now, start a 3-game series against the Cardinals.
You're right.
We'll see what they do. I think they do have a rebound. I like your play today. I think they do have an opportunity to get things right here today.
First, Rodon was lights out on Friday. The offense just couldn't come through. Bullpen gave it up there at the end. And same thing with yesterday. Bullpen, and it's really annoying because the Sox bullpen's supposed to be really solid, but they've been their top guys have not been as good as advertised quite yet.
Yeah, hopefully that'll turn around, because I like you a lot better when your Sox are winning, partner. So
we're still in first place in the division.
Still playing absolutely great baseball. My Cubbies, to much surprise also, last night got the dub over the Cardinals in the 10th, won it 2-1, and I'm with you. I'm sorry. I know it hurt. I know you had the Cardinals to win and have to record a hit, and both of them lost.
I did, and on Saturday I actually took your Cubs, and that was the one that they lost. I can't remember what happened on Friday, but Saturday and Sundays
Friday they won.
I know. Was it a close game, though?
No, they piped.
Okay.
They piped
I stayed away from that one. And then for Saturday and Sunday, I was watching those games, and those were good games. Yeah. But I was on the wrong side of both of them. So,
I took Cubbies all 3 games because I really liked the pitching matchup. Obviously, they went 2-1 this weekend. Got the day off today, so no Cubby check-in. You won't see any of that from me on Twitter. Probably bring it back to you live tomorrow as we go to Pittsburgh to play the P-Roots on a 3-game series. coming up here, and then we promptly go to visit the Cincinnati Reds. So some solid games with a lot of potential to win and get my Cubbies into a much, much better position in the NL Central here.
I mean, you need our help this start of the week here.
Yes, partner. I do. Yes, I do. So I would really hope that your Sox put the whoop down on the Cardinals. That'd be real nice.
Yeah,
real nice.
Coming back home, I'm seeing a nice little bounce back here.
I do too. Wrapping up the weekend of sports and what was an absolutely huge weekend of sports, the UFC had quite the fight night card. If you missed it, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Just go get you ESPN Plus for $4.99. Hey, there's a free promo, ESPN Plus, son of a... Either way, get you ESPN Plus subscription, and you're gonna get all of these fight nights for free. Now, we don't stream the UFC main cards at all. We buy them every time. But either way, the one this past weekend, the fight night, was absolutely electric. Some of the fights, if you didn't see, Court McGee against Claudio Silva. Court McGee, for the first time in his UFC career, looked pissed off. He looked mad, and he looked like he wanted to win that fight, and Court McGee got the unanimous decision, and he dominated. He has been one of my favorite fighters since he came into the UFC a few years back. I think it's been a little over 5 or 6 years now, maybe a little bit more. But I was so happy to see Court McGee, and I think now Court McGee is going to be a name that you guys are going to start hearing in the UFC and start making some waves. Definitely in that welterweight division. I don't know if he's going to get to a point where he'll get a shot against Kamaru, but that being the case, I still think he makes a little bit of a push here in the 170 division.
Usman runs through that division like he is, the way it's going, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that might have shot.
Absolutely. The Ben Rothwell versus Chris Barnett fight. Chris Barnett, 5'9" heavyweight. That was absolutely insane. Fighting out of Atlanta, that he looked so. I mean, you look at him even on the screen there. He looked so mismatched. Ben Rothwell, he was great on the feet for a little while, and then Ben Rothwell took him down. Absolutely dominated and got the submission. Ben Rothwell returned to form. He has now won 52 fights, I believe, or 30-some fight. That was his 52nd pro fight.
Oh, yeah, 39-13.
Yeah, and most guys don't even come close to making that. I mean, you think about the Jacares, you think about the Tony Fergusons, the Cowboys, all those guys that are really starting to get up there and are starting to get beat now with the changing of the guards. Ben Rothwell's continuing to do it in the heavyweight division. So
first submission win in 5 years for the man.
Yeah. If you took it, I hope you did. I told you this was going to be my best bet on the card and one that I was really watching. Jack Hermansen versus Edmund Shabazzian. Jack Hermansen came in that first round, and let me tell you, folks, I was sweating. Shabazzian was tapping him up. He was throwing that jab out there. He was keeping the range, and not to mention, Hermansen said after the fight, I don't know where the hell my timing was in the first round. I felt embarrassed. I didn't know what I was doing. The whole experience felt brand new to me. And then he promptly came out in rounds 2 and 3, remembered that he is a grappler, and dominated Edmund on the ground for the rest of the fight, got the unanimous decision victory. So absolutely love to see that for Jack. With him being at middleweight now, or 185. Yeah, he's always been at middleweight, 185. I just, depending on how this shakes up with Izzy and Vettori fighting here in a couple of weeks, and kind of how some of these other matchups kind of shake up, I wouldn't mind a Robert Whittaker versus Jack Hermansen fight.
Okay. I mean, he's coming up, no question, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it one damn bit. The Joker is one of my favorite fighters in the welterweight division. You had Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo, one of my favorite fighters. I made a promise to myself I wouldn't bet against Brazilians. I did it anyway. Ricardo Ramos got Ricardo Romas, I'm going to say it correctly, got the victory. It wasn't super dominant, but it was just enough, and enough submission attacks, enough ground game, enough stuff where he got the victory. Now, I also said not betting against Brazilians, so I took Norma Dumont against a heavy favorite in Felicia Spencer. Guess who won? Norma Dumont.
You got that one.
So, from me to you, word to the wise, don't bet against Brazilians in UFC. I don't care if they're a dog, if they're a favorite. Hammer in the Brazilians. Anytime I've bet against Brazilians since the start of 2021, I have lost. I don't know what it is, but the Brazilians are taking over in 2021.
Hottest country in the sport.
Just a little something to think about, outside of those Kazakhstani guys, because those sons of bitches grow up wrestling and fighting bears, so they're like 5 years old fighting 700-pound bears. They don't give a shit. But Brazilians, absolutely love them. The Justin Taffa, Jared Vandera fight was killer. Jared Vandera looked like,
God.
It looked like he'd been in a car crash, and the cut was that doggone big. I mean,
it was disgusting.
He was just leaking. He caught him right on one of the veins, and he was just leaking. And actually, Jared Vandera got the win.
It unanimous.
Got the unanimous win,
that was
which
so
was insane.
disgusting, though.
Carla Esparza shut a lot of people up. Had a dominant TKO victory from the crucifix position over Yan Xiaonan. Yan was coming on a 4-fight win streak, absolutely obliterating some of the strawweight division. And Carla said, ho, 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 sweetheart. I was a champion around these parts one time, and I'm going to try and go get my belt back from Rose. And she did it in dominant fashion, got it done early.
Yeah.
Early. And then... much to my dismay, Cody Garbrandt did not have the return that I was anticipating. Now, something positive, when Cody got hit, when he was taking big bombs, he didn't do usual Cody shit. He didn't bite down on the mouthpiece, start throwing bombs, putting the head down. He stepped back. He felt the cage. He's growing. Finally, at 29 years old, finally being in, fighting for the belt 3 times, he's finally starting to get himself in the cage. That was what I was most impressed about, even though I knew that Rob Font probably had the better striking, probably had the better hands. I was thinking that Cody might be able to catch him with something like that.
Right.
But to see Cody come out with that game plan against a much more dominant striker, which he knew he couldn't get the takedown. He wasn't going to get the takedown the whole fight, so he just had to play defensively. I wouldn't count Cody out by any means yet.
No, definitely not.
He had to battle COVID. He had pneumonia. Like, he had some other stuff with his gut. I mean, he's been out of the UFC for legitimate reasons. He hasn't just been taking time off. Like, his whole last year has been a clusterfuck. His body health-wise has been destroyed.
Right.
The fact that he even got back into the cage this past weekend was huge. And the fact that he made the adjustments he did, even more huge. So I look forward to Cody getting back in the cage again. I mean, he's only 12-4 and he's 29 years old. He's got a long time to go in the UFC. And so does Rob Font. I think Rob Font deserves a high ranking and potentially a shot at that bantamweight strap.
Yeah, he looked good, man.
We'll see what happens after Figueiredo Moreno 2. Who they want to give that to, but I'm also looking forward to that. That should be an absolute scrap. Moreno was the only guy so far that's made Figueiredo even question his game plan. Had him thrown off the entire time. So that should be a really interesting one to watch. This upcoming weekend, we do have another fight night coming to you live and in the flesh. I know Walt Harris is fighting on that one. I watched. Oh yes, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Augusto Sakai. That should be ridiculous. Walt Harris versus Marcin Tybura. Ridiculous. Anything else I'm seeing right from the jump? Tom Breeze, Antonio Arroyo should be solid. And Tanner Boser coming back fighting Ilir Latifi. That should be a bomb fest in the heavyweight division. Tanner Boser, I believe in his 4 last fights, 3 of them have been by knockout. So they have been electric, and Latifi is also solid in and of himself. Montana De La Rosa making a return this upcoming weekend, and outside of that, a lot of young names trying to make a way in the UFC. So there you have it for the UFC this past weekend's fight night and the one upcoming. As always, we'll obviously bring you some UFC fight night bets on Friday's episode of the show. We'll also bring you some Charles Schwab Invitational and the Memorial Day Classic coming up probably Wednesday, I would say, Wednesday's episode, because usually when we start recording on Thursday, the guys have already teed off.
Action's already underway.
So that's already going on. So we'll be sure to bring you all of that. Wrapping up today's rants and reactions with a little bit of TTL news and updates. Obviously, we are live on YouTube. What the fuck? I am blown away.
We're right here. We're showing up. We're rolling.
I'm still blown away that we've been here for an hour and 11 minutes, rocking and rolling. It feels like it's been about 30 seconds. So, partner, I think we'll keep doing a few more of these.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll keep coming back. We'll keep coming back. I don't find myself going anywhere anytime soon. We're just going to keep improving this. If you guys have any, hey, what's up, Zach? Thanks for stopping in the chat. We speaking of which, we always will have the chat open. So if you guys hear something that we say in our analysis, or you hear something we say in the rants and reactions, you want to know more, you want to know why we picked out this specific stat, anything at all, that live chat's going to kind of turn into our fan questions, something of that nature. And we also plan on bringing back Fan Question Friday, or at least fan questions in some facet, especially with some of these bigger and better capabilities now that we're on YouTube. And we plan to be on Twitch here rather soon as well. Do a little bit of gaming, a little side shows on there.
You can see me whoop on Colton, some NHL, MLB, NBA, Madden.
He's just naming
PGA.
random games. He doesn't know what he's doing. Don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to this guy. He's going to be paying me every single game we play.
If we had a camera guy here, he would turn the camera over to Mr. Colton's PlayStation 3 over there that he practices on over there.
Yes, folks, he did just burn the shit out of me there, so I will own up to it. I do own a PlayStation 3. I do not have a new generation console. I am an old soul, and when something treats me well, I treat it well. I keep it going, and you're damn right. Every single game from circa 2010 still plays on that bad boy. Can you say that about your shitty-ass scratched PS5 disc that you didn't take care of from last week?
Nobody uses discs anymore, dude.
Oh, well, nobody uses discs anymore. News to me. They do fucking downloads. Yeah, what the fuck ever. I still got my disc. You got your downloads. One of these here days, maybe I'll come into the 21st
one
century.
Of these days. Maybe
But
PlayStation
now,
7, who knows?
Maybe at some point in time. But for now, I'm sticking with that. So needless to say, we have so much content coming at you guys. Now that we are live on YouTube, that was our biggest thing that we wanted to get accomplished. Just being live in prime time to you guys. You can connect with us more, get our analysis live straight up, and be able to also get in podcast version and then come back and see the video at later points once we're done with the show. So this has been accomplished. Now it's time to put the hammer down. We got some serious stuff coming for you guys. As a reminder, stay locked in to all of our social medias. Be sure you visit the link tree down in the description. That will have my social media, RMags social media, all of the TTL social media, where you can find us all on every single podcast directory, our newsletter, which will soon be having some adjustments announced soon, and everything else under the sun that is in relation to the TTL crew. So make sure you check all of that out so you can stay up to date, because from here on out, boys and girls, we ain't going nowhere, and we are rocking. We've been behind the scenes, only hearing our voices for about the last
3 months.
Going on 3 months podcast-wise here, 4 months. We've been doing this now full time. It'd be just about 6 months here, coming up in June, and then all the planning and everything. Geez, we've been at that for 8-10 months, so
right,
getting real close to around a year here. So we don't plan on going nowhere. We ain't gonna go nowhere. Nope. And we are going to keep making this bigger and better for each and every one of you. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your brothers, tell your uncles. We are here to stay, and we're going to be cashing tickets every single day and bringing you more sports gambling content and more sports content that you would have not have ever even imagined was possible. So there we have it. There's some TTL updates for you. There's our rants and reactions for this beautiful Monday, May 24th, 2021. Now, if you have never been to an episode of the TTL pod or TTL show, kind of struggling with what the hell I should actually call it now that we're a live show, but we're also a podcast, but we're also an episode. Either way, you know what the hell I'm talking about. If you haven't been to an episode of TTL before, one thing that I always like to do to close it out is something a little special, give you a little motivation, a little inspiration, something that you can't find on any other media outlet. For some reason, nobody wants to give you any inspiration or any type of kick in the ass to get you through your day, a little something to get the mind going. So that's where I come in. I finish off the pod with a little thing that I like to call Colt's Motivation Minutes. Now, We've been having some pretty solid ones over the past couple days, couple weeks. Been rolling out some real good and got some really good feedback. So today, today I wanted to give you guys another one of kind of my quotes that I've formulated, also kind of added to it a little bit for lack of a better term, and then give you some of the perspective and some of the thoughts behind that, and hopefully get you ready to rock and roll for this beautiful Monday. So for today's Motivation Minutes, the quote of the day is: something that is easy to do is also something that is easy not to do. Now think about that for a minute. And think about it at a very, very minuscule level. Something as simple as taking out the trash, or doing your dishes, or getting up in the morning and making your bed first thing. They're very easy. They're very simple. They don't take a lot of effort. But for some reason in the brain, our brain likes to tell us that it takes so much effort to get all of these things done. So then we just play into that and say, do it later. It's just as easy to say, I'll figure it out and keep putting it off, as it is to take the 5 seconds and actually do that task. Now, when you think about this, this is all discipline. This all comes down to you and you. There is nobody that is going to tell you that you need to wash your dishes if you're a grown-ass adult. There's nobody that's going to be in your ear when you pop out of bed in the morning to make your bed. There's nobody that when you get done washing your hands in the sink, instead of leaving water all over the place, just wipe it up a little bit. Sorry, getting a little crazy with the hands. But it comes down to those small decisions. And when you actively seek to make those decisions instead of pushing it to the side, I'll do it later. It's easy. I'll save it for later. The more you choose not to do that and make the hard choice of, I'll get it done now, you find out how easy it is, and then you find out how much more you can apply that on in your life. If you take the simple actions of becoming disciplined in the everyday moments, when you have, I'll go back to the dishes example, when you finish lunch, instead of throwing your plate in the sink and soaking it, which is a bunch of horse in my mind, don't care what you think, but there is no such thing as soaking unless we just baked a lasagna for 15 hours. There's no such thing. Grab the sponge, a little bit of soap, and get it done. The amount of time that you spent thinking about doing it and putting it off, you could already had it done in the drying rack. It's simple little thoughts of discipline. And if you do those things on a small scale, day in and day out, when it comes time to make these big choices and the things that are actually hard to do, they become easy to do. Because your mentality's already there, your mindset's already there, and you've already coached yourself and trained yourself. This stuff doesn't come overnight, and you're not going to be able to tackle those hard challenges if you don't start putting it into practice with the small things now. I can promise you that because I got G4 classification to speak on these things because I do the exact thing myself. I was someone in the past who was a soaker, or who would leave my bed. Stuff like, yeah. Hey, you've never heard people call themselves that. I had a lot of college roommates call themselves.
Soaker?
I was a soaker, yeah. I could just very well imagine your kind girlfriend gets to deal with
She's actually chirping me as we speak. She's actually chirping me as we speak because she's watching.
Love you, Paige. Let's go. So, wrapping up my motivation minutes, think on that today. Think where you can apply that in little areas. Don't get crazy. Don't try and change in Rome in one day. Just make it small. Make it the tiny little things. And the more you do, the easier it's going to get with those bigger things. So closing thought, the quote once again, something that is easy to do, easy not to do. I apologize. Let me restart. Something that is easy to do is also something that is easy not to do. Little bit of a tongue twister there, but that's my motivation minutes for this beautiful May 24th, 2021. Any thoughts there, partner?
We'll hit a little too close to home. I
do apologize.
I'm going to be doing some laundry tonight because I didn't do that. I did like 3 or 4 loads on Saturday. We had a lot of laundry. Sunday came around. I was going to do the rest on Sunday. I didn't do it. And now I got laundry tonight.
Hey, see, put it off. Now you got to jack around with it. And it's going to be harder now because you're going to be wanting to sit around and watch sports when you could have just done it on Saturday. So, hey, I absolutely love it when my messages reach through the airwaves and are able to give you guys something to take on about your day. But when it impacts the guy sitting right to the left of me, I mean, shit, I am just spitting today. Just spitting. So there you have it. Holy cow, partner. We've been at this for a good little bit, the usual amount of time for the TTL pod. I think it's about time we get this bad boy wrapped up. As per usual, anything burning on the heart, melting on the brain, or festering in the soul that you just been dying to get out to the kind people that decided to stop by episode number 43 of the Talking the Line podcast today?
I actually have something here.
Oh,
these things keep falling in my lap.
These
things keep falling in my lap about 5 minutes before we hit.
Going up. Oh.
These things keep falling into my lap about 5 minutes before we hit record because I do not ever come prepared.
Hey, as I would not expect. That's okay.
And it's nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Something I was just interested in here.
Okay.
We got little rumors of different super leagues going around, and obviously over in Europe with the soccer,
right?
Football,
the
Super League, whatever's going on over there. That's got a shit show going on. Little rumblings of some PGA Super League type deal. But now we got high school basketball powerhouses are going to form their own national Super League starting in the 21-22 season.
And I see IMG Academy's part of those.
6 so far. It's going to be an 18 league. 6 of the biggest high schools in the country are going to be forming this Super League. A lot of people like watching high school basketball, man, and if you put it on, put it on live television, people are going to watch it, especially if it's the best of the best going up against each other. Guys that are about to be, whether it's, Kentucky, Duke, whatever it be, or in the league within 2 to 3 years. These people are going to watch it, and it's probably going to be a lot of money to be made off of this shit.
I would say so. So then that even gets you down the rabbit hole. Name and likeness. Are we? Are we going to start paying high school players now? What's the ramifications of all of this, especially with all the TV deals and everything that comes out of that?
I mean, that one's going to be a bigger hill to climb, I think, but we got NCAA to tackle first.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. RMags says high school teams building powerhouse. Be on the lookout for a high school Super League coming sometime soon. Wow, very intriguing. Thanks for that quick little sidebar, Mr. Magnuson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. Thank you. Thank you. This is the first time you're getting to see my face say this. Let me take the glasses off. Thank you. I cannot tell each and every single one of you who have stopped by today's episode or have stopped by our podcast in the past or follow us on social media or any of the million other things, like, comment, share, whatever it might be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything you see, the production studio, this whole show, everything you watched today, everything you've heard, everything you've seen from us since we rolled out to you January 1 of 2021 has been me and this guy. Mm-hmm. There's no team. There's no production team. There's no social media team. There's no nothing. The Talking the Line sports media is me and Max.
Yep.
And we grind every single damn day to bring the best content we can to you. And all of this would not be possible if it wasn't for your support. So I'm even getting choked up thinking about it because I did not think that we would be here a short 6 months ago. I would have never planned it. I didn't have the thought in my mind. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we are here is because of you guys. And I promise, and I know Mags will be the same, that we are going to keep making this bigger and better and bringing you more and more content and sticking with the times and diving deep into the industry every single day for each and every single one of you. Please feel free to reach out to us in our DMs on social. Feel free to reach out to us on the live chat here. I will always page with our eyes. I'll always keep a lookout on the live. Be sure to drop your questions or any comments you have in there. We'll always be checking it. I can't thank you guys enough. One more reminder. Be sure to hit that link tree so you can find all of our socials, all of our podcast directories, all of our additional content. Make sure you follow us all there so you have all that good action and you're always up to date with Talking the Line Sports Media and what we're up to. Now, without further ado, as always, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates, gamblers far and wide, from myself and Mags, we hope you have a spectacular rest of your Monday. Unless you have other plans, let's cash some tickets.